Hello, Cori here, and I am here today to do the mid-year book freakout tag. This tag has been going around BookTube for years and years now. I believe it was originally done by Chami. I'll leave their channel link down below. Yeah, we've been doing this tag, I believe, since we started this BookTube channel for OwlCrate. So we do it every year. We love it. I'm not sure if the other members of the team will be doing it this year, but we'll have to wait and see for that. But this is my mid-year book freakout tag. So the first question is, what is the best book you've read so far in 2020? This was very difficult for me. I've read, as of filming this video, 139 books, so I've read some real good ones. But the two I'm picking two because I have to, is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. I'm sure this is going to come up in a lot of videos for me. I love it. I can't wait for the rest of the team to read it. Again, it's set in a world in which New York has become personified. It's very weird. It's very engaging. It has so many lovely characters and important discussions, and it's just wonderful. I love it, and I love N.K. Jemisin, probably one of my favorite authors of all time now. And then the other one I picked was Britt Marie Was Here by Fredrik Backman. I'm definitely a convert to Fredrik Backman. I've loved every single book by him I've read. I'm pretty sure I've almost read them all at this point. This is about a kind of older lady. At first sight, Britt Marie is a fussy, passive-aggressive busybody, but hidden inside her is a woman who has bigger dreams and a warmer heart than anyone around her can imagine. And it's just this lovely story of this woman coming to a community and this bringing the community together behind her. I love it. It's so charming. If you need a book that's gonna just make you feel good, this is one to pick up. And then the next question was, what is the best sequel you've read this year? And I almost put this for best book of the year, but then I realized it is a sequel. And again, it's another Fredrik Backman book, but that is Us Against You. This is the sequel to Beartown. I think this is one of the first books I finished in 2020, and I can see all my tabs in there where I tabbed parts that I just fell in love with. And this one just really hit me in the heartstrings. It's about Beartown, where hockey is life, and the exploration of hockey culture and small town culture and community and neighbors and rivalry. And it's just, this one isn't as heartwarming. Like, it does have heartwarming parts, but it's more of a difficult read. But I absolutely loved it. You do not have to be a fan of hockey to love it, but if you are a fan of hockey, it helps. It makes it more impactful, I think. And as somebody who, when you look at me, you probably don't think, oh, massive hockey fan. Massive hockey fan. One of the things about this pandemic that has kind of affected my life the most, which is super weird to say, is the inability to watch hockey. But there you have it. Love this book. Love Fredrik Backman. Next up is a new release you haven't read yet but want to, and this one I'm gonna pick because I just got it out from the library, but that is King and the Dragonflies by Kacen Callender. I actually don't know too much about what this one's about, but I believe it's set in the South, and there's a young boy, and I believe his brother has passed away, and maybe having to face some prejudices, and battle against his own prejudices. I've heard nothing but good things. I think this cover is beautiful. Got it out from the library, so I want to read it before I have to take it back. Question 4 is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I would be lying if I didn't say it was Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson, which is the 4th book in the Stormlight Archive, not the Oathbringer, series. Really excited for that. I need to do a reread of the first 3 books. And the other one is Charming as a Verb by Ben Felipe. I want to say Felipe because he's Canadian. Ben Felipe wrote The Field Guide to the North American Teenager, which I think is a super underrated contemporary book that was so full of charm that I really want to pick up his next book. Yeah, super excited for it. I've been loving contemporary lately, so it's definitely on my list. Question 5 is your biggest disappointment. Now this one for me is I've been really trying to get more into Margaret Atwood. I'd only read, before this year, I'd only read one book by her, and it was Oryx and Crake, and it was several years ago, and it was okay, but I didn't love it, so I wanted to give her another try. And I ended up buddy reading a book called Cat's Eye with a friend, and I really just didn't click with it. Like, I just found it to be incredibly boring. That said, I'm glad to report back that I have since read a couple of Margaret Atwoods that I did connect with, and this one's basically just the story of a painter who is reminiscing about her childhood and growing up. I think what I wanted more of is the painter's, her life now and less of what happened then, but yeah, it was okay. A lot of other people really like this one, so if you're interested, still check it out, but it wasn't for me. Question 6 is your biggest surprise. One of them is Anita by Roxane Gay. I had the audiobook of this. I can't remember where I got it, but I randomly had the audiobook of this. So I was listening to it and I just loved it. It was so good. I've never read any Roxane Gay before, and I definitely need to read more. But these are basically just stories about the Haitian diaspora. It was fantastically written, entirely fascinating, heartbreaking, heartwarming. It was great. I had never heard of it before, and I've never heard of anybody else who's read it. If you have, let me know if you loved it too. But yeah, that was a big surprise for me, and I definitely need to pick up more by Roxane Gay. And the other one is Moon of the Crusted Snow by Lovegish and Rice. This was another one that I randomly had the audiobook for, had never heard of, and then listened to and fell in love with. This is a quite short book about a small Anishinaabe community. The power goes out, and this is something kind of common that happens, and they're waiting for it to come back on, but then they discover that basically communication has been lost everywhere. So not only is the power out for this community, it's out for the world as far as they know, and then they have these people from the outside of the community trying to come in, and what happens after that. It's dark, but it's gripping, and it's like super frightful, but in a way that was like intensely enjoyable. Definitely one to put on your list to check out if you want. It has this like perfect, creepy, amazing atmosphere. Loved it. Alright, so next up is your favorite new author, debut, or new to you, and this is new to me. And I had a hard time again picking this because I've technically only read one of their books, but I just loved it so much. But that's Kay Ancrum, The Weight of the Stars. I read this with like a book club buddy read called Dragons and Tea Book Club? Something like that. And I'm so glad they encouraged me to pick it up, because this is just a wonderful book that has these like subtle spacey elements that were really fun to read about, but also is more about this group of people and their found family, and just how they're a mess, but they'll do anything to have each other's back no matter what. I loved it. I know it's been going around a lot lately. Definitely, again, underrated. I can't wait to read more from Kay Ancrum, and I will be doing so soon. Next up is newest fictional crush, and I don't think I really have one. Like, I was trying to think about this, and I don't really think I've had any new fictional crushes this year. I said Manny from The City We Became, maybe, but more I just like his character. I know, so I don't really have any fictional crush, so can't really answer that one. But the next question is your newest favorite character. And with that, I went with One for the Dead from Ragged Company. Yes, her name is One for the Dead. This is a book that, again, came out of left field. I'm having a really good time with books I had never heard of this year. And I think I need to do more of that with my reading now. Ragged Company is a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic book. One of the best books I've ever read in my life. Again, like, it could be on one of my favorite of the year list, but I have to narrow it down somehow. But One for the Dead is kind of the leader of this group of 4 homeless people. the one who kind of brought them together and found them. So I'm gonna move on to the next question, because the next question is a book that made you cry. I think this is the only book that, no, it's not the only book that's made me cry this year, but it is definitely the one that's made me cry the most. I don't often cry in books, like sometimes I'll get like a tear, but this one, like I was full on cry, like for the final 50 pages, just crying the entire time. It's such a beautiful story. Again, I think this is a book that's going to come up a lot in videos for me from now on. It's a very intense, and it's definitely an adult read. I think a lot of the books I'm picking this year are adult books, but if you have a lot of things that bother you in fiction, like if content really gets to you, make sure you're kind of looking up what this book is about, because it doesn't shy away from anything. Like at the first chapter, there are multiple familial deaths, there's drug use, there's addiction, there's drinking, there's just, and so much more horrific things. So just be careful with it, but it is an incredible story. Alright, so the next question is a book that made you happy. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but I'm having a really good time with kind of like happy, uplifting YA contemporary recently. So the two I picked was You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson and There's Something About Sweetie by Sandhya Menon. These books look really good together. I love Sandhya Menon's book. I can't wait to read Pinky, the next book in this series, and it's just, they're just gonna make you happy. And same goes with You Should See Me in a Crown. I think this book especially has been going around a lot lately. It came out recently, and read it. It's incredible. I had such a fun time with it. And same with There's Something About Sweetie. You don't necessarily need to read the other books in the Dimpleverse, but I encourage you to, because they're all so good. Yeah, I love Sandhya Menon. Next up is the most beautiful book you've bought this year or received. And I'm kind of late to the party on this one, but I love the cover of Wilder Girls by Rory Power. I read this year, bought it this year, and I'm obsessed with this cover. It's so good. It's so good. I liked the story, not my new favorite, but I thought it was like very intriguing and cool. But I'm just obsessed with the cover art. And the final question is, what is a book that you need to read before the end of the year? And my answer to this is a lot of them. But I picked two that I have just had sitting on my TBR. One is Who Fears Death by Nnedi Okorafor. This was recommended to me, I think like in 2014 or something, and I still haven't read it. Finally have a physical copy, so I'm gonna make myself read it before the end of the year. And then the next one is The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin, which is book one of her Dream Blood duology. One of my goals at the beginning of the year was to read more N.K. Jemisin, and I've almost read all of the books now, so once I finish this duology, I think I have one other book to read, and then I'm all caught up, and I just have to wait eagerly for more books to come out. But yeah, these are two I'm picking, but also so many more. Alright, so that was the mid-year book freakout tag. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if you're excited about any of them. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more. Happy reading, and thanks for being awesome. Bye!